All right, guys, so I got a camera set up on this field edge down here about 30-40 yards. It's actually where I'm throwing all my carcasses and stuff for the trapping season, letting the eagles have something to eat. But I've been catching a bobcat on this fence line a lot, and I caught another female cat up here about 40 yards on this side. And with the wind, it's going to warm up here in the next couple weeks. I'm just going to try to put another set in this area for that one cat. I know he's in here. So kind of back here where my buckets and stuff are. This is a big brush pile. If a cat's coming in here looking for dinner, I'm just going to try to blow this up, put feathers all over the place, make a dirt hole set back there. I don't ever set for just cats. So there's guys that are probably a lot better at cat trapping than me, but I always do dirt hole sets. So gonna just try something different, see if I can have any luck getting this other cat. I'm gonna try to make like a trench set here with feathers all over it. See how it goes. Like I said, there's probably somebody that knows a better idea than me, but we'll see what happens. And then hopefully here within the week, we'll have a little intel knowing if it's working or not. So I'm gonna get after it. So I kind of already opened this up a little bit here. And I'm just doing that just for backing and eye appeal. Wind's out of the south, so if he does come in here, hopefully eye appeal gets him there, and then his nose finishes him off. Ground is very much frozen, so it's going to be a booger. But we'll try to bust up the ground a little bit here with the auger. And there's a big chunk came out. The biggest deal is the grass holds a lot of heat, so it actually makes setting a little easier in the grass versus a worn out field like that. Always change my gloves from stinky bucket, not stinky bucket, and then try to only touch my traps with good gloves that I only touch dirt with. Get rid of all the big chunks of frozen ground. Try to pull all this out of here. Take my hammer and then we'll bust up. The ground is actually a lot less frozen now that I took, an inch of duff off of it. So that's something I really try to keep in mind trapping when it's real crazy cold outside like it is now, or has been. It's actually beautiful out right now. So we'll just get all this pulled out. So I either try to make my sets where it looks like something's there, blowed out, big hole, big eye appeal. You're gonna be able to see this from a long ways off. If this cat comes down this field edge, there's a huge disturbance here now. So I'm gonna try to go with big and explosive versus the one we did down there. I blended it in and made it look like nothing was there. All right, guys, so I got all this opened up. Got my sifter pan here. This is actually the first time I've had any dirt to work with. It's a little wet, but we'll put some salt on it. That'll keep it from refreezing. It's actually a little too wet. I got some dry dirt we'll probably end up using. But just digging my trap bed out. MB 550s make like a 4.5 inch circle, I think it is. So a couple pops there with the hammer. You set enough of them, you kind of figure out how big to make your hole. Just kind of size my trap up. Fits in there really nice. You don't want a great big giant blowed out hole. You want your solid dirt to be right around those edges, and the only thing touching are the ears. So I kind of lay it in there, get like a little indention, and when it's soft dirt, I just pack that down like that. Give those ears somewhere really nice to set, so when it lays in there, it's pretty well even with the ground, even though I dug this out so this ground is lower than that. A cat or critters normally will step in a lower hole than they will step up on a mound. So we'll get this trap bedded and set in there, and then we'll do all that. We'll come back and kind of show you how I'm going to bait it up, what I'm going to do with the feathers and that kind of thing, just for eye appeal wise. This one's in on a earth anchor. So you just drive that in. Normally it's a little harder than that, so I'm going to give it a few extra taps. I don't want to lose this cat if I happen to catch it. And then I always pull back on them just to make sure that that earth anchor set in the ground really good. It is warm today, but it's going to get below freezing again. So salt and peat moss. Peat moss doesn't really hold the water, so I like it. Kind of keeps the dirt fluffy, and then I just pound all this in around it. Kind of give that a tap, and then use your fist to level all this off. Salt's cheap, so I use a lot. Kind of get all that in there. We don't want these ears to wiggle, so I'm going to put some loose dirt around that, like so. And I don't want just my trap to be weird, so I try to either tamp the ground to make this a bigger flat area, flat all the way around it, like so. Cotton ball underneath, and I kind of try to fluff these cotton balls. I've used pillow stuffing before too. Either one works pretty good. When it rains, I think the pillow stuffing works better. Wait for that night lash to click like so. And then we'll peat moss all throughout that. Like so, and then I throw a little salt back over the top of that, just so when I put this dirt in there, kind of keeps it from freezing. Pack all this. I'm just constantly packing it around there, trying to get it, and then I'll kind of swipe my pan loose there just so I can remember where it is. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sift all this around here, so this whole area looks the same, just kind of making it a bigger area that looks like such. And I know I've mentioned a lot about trying to catch a cat here, and I do want to catch a cat here, but this will catch coyotes. This is the exact same setup I had about 40 yards up the field here earlier this year. Caught a cat in it, but I've caught coyotes in it too, so we'll see. So that's kind of everything set there. I'm gonna put bait and lure, bobcat bait, bobcat lure, bobcat pea, and then I'm going to take this goose here, and I'm just going to throw feathers all over the place. This whole area, I'm just going to put a bunch of feathers in there, and then I'm going to take the wing of it, and I'll probably put the wing up here high from a distance. Cats use their sight more to hunt than they do their nose, so we'll get his eyes to bring him in close, and then we'll let his nose finish him. So So we got goose feathers kind of blowed out everywhere. I shoved a bunch in this hole back here, and I'll go ahead and I'll put some bait back there in the hole too. So I'm trying to use the feathers to bring them in from a distance, and then we use baits and lures to bring them in closer. Got some cat collector. We'll put it back here. Like I said, south wind. So when he comes in, I'm kind of orientating that for south wind or west wind. If he comes in, he smells it from there. So kind of think about the wind every time I put a set out.